I'm not a huge book collector. Now, my shelves may beg to differ as they're complaining lately under the weight of the newly acquired titles. So for me, this is a pretty massive book haul with some amazing books. And let's start out with The Snow Queen by Joan D. Vinci. I have not read any books by Joan. Her husband, of course, was a big hit for me with Fire Up on the Deep, Deepness in the Sky. But this book, Snow Queen, book club edition, the cover is spectacular. I love the Dylan cover. It's mesmerizing. It's a bit unsettling. It definitely puts you in a mood that this book probably has, the vibe, the feel of it. I'm excited. Definitely a bit of a fairy tale quality to it. And this book, of course, was inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. So yeah, let me know if you've read this one. Is it a good one? Should I read it? This was published in 1980. It's been around for a minute. Not as long as Hard to Be a God by Strugatski brothers. This was originally published in the 60s. This DAW edition translated US, I think it was first translation 1974. November of 1974 this book came out. I was born October 30th, 1974. This book is exactly as old as I am. I think it's in better condition, honestly, than I am. Beautiful book, DAW. Strugatski Brothers, fantastic. Roadside Picnic, a great book. I don't know if I love the story, but I was intrigued. I was interested. I thought about it after I stopped reading it. It's a great book for sure. And I hope Hard to Be a God will be an interesting read as well. I don't know if I'll be reading this edition though. I don't want to crack this lovely spine. You can probably relate if you like books. Let's look at some more modern books. I'm just going down the list here. In Ascension, Martin McInnes, Booker Prize, longlisted for a Booker Prize just a couple of years ago. I've heard, I think it was from Joanna Reads, that this was a good one. She mentioned that I might like it. I finally found it. I finally picked it up. I'm excited. I'm going to read it at some point soon. It's more of a recent future kind of a scenario. And I'm really interested to find out what this book is about. Do not confuse this title with Ascension, a book that I hated. In Ascension, completely different story. The Prestige, oh my gosh, Christopher Priest. I love Inverted World, written by Christopher Priest. That was a fantastic story that I was fully immersed in the world, in the mystery of it. Now, The Prestige, I watched the movie maybe a couple of years ago. So I kind of remember the story. I don't know if the book is very much similar to it. If you've watched the movie and read the book, let me know, please. I'm curious. I know this is a story that I'm going to like. I loved the movie. I thought it was great. And I want to read the book. I wonder if I should read it now or if I should put a little bit more distance between myself, the book, and the movie, I should say. So yeah, please let me know about Prestige, the book, as well. Now, Light. Look at this. John Harrison. Light. This is funny. This is a bit of a funny story. Just maybe a day before I picked this book up, I'm in the comments talking with Lisa. I think it was Lisa, one of my subscribers. In the comments, she mentioned that she's reading this book. She's in the middle of it. She thought it was interesting. Bizarre, I think is the word she used. And I was like, yeah, I've heard something about it. I don't have it. It's like, okay, if I find it, I'll consider buying it. Next day or maybe 2 days after that exchange, I'm in a bookstore. First thing that I see is Light. It was meant to be. So Lisa, let me know if you finished the book, if you liked it all the way through, if I should read it soon. I don't know. I have so many books to read, but eventually I'll get to Light. I'll see the light. Eventually I'll see the light. What do we have here? Inner Space, Jakub Szamalek, Polish author, smart guy, Cambridge, Oxford educated, lives in, I was going to say Colorado, no, he lives in Canada now, writes in Polish. So the Polish title for this was Stacja, the station. I guess Inner Space was better titled, somebody decided. So it's a translated work by someone who clearly speaks English very well. So that's kind of interesting that he decided to write it still in Polish. He's like the narrative director for one of the big Polish game companies. Inner Space, I'm guessing probably no one out there has read it, but if you have, talk to me. Let me know if this is good. I picked it up because I was curious about the author, yeah, I hope it's a good one. What do we have here? Oh, The Passage. Look at this. Justin Cronin. In the previous video, I talked a little bit about The Ferryman, which was a book that I liked, and I was recommending it in my previous video. And then I ran into this cheap copy of The Passage, which is probably his most famous story. It's a big one. It's like 900 pages. So if you read The Passage, let me know. I think this is like a government conspiracy, bit of a dystopian world. Government's doing some sort of experiments. Kids are involved. Stephen King likes it. It's supposed to be very like addictive. Let me know. Let me know, please. What do we have here? Maybe let's talk about these two books. I just talked about Shamalek being someone who lives now in Canada, a Polish author. Here is a proper Canadian author, A.E. Van Vogt. Now, list of shame, I have not read anything by the author. These both, Slan and The World of Null A, both of these books were published in the 40s. One, I think 1941, 1945, so they're old. And I definitely want to get to them at some point and read these works by probably the most famous Canadian science fiction author. Let me know if you enjoyed these. Between these two, if I'm gonna read one, I'll probably read both at some point. But if I wanted to read one, which one do you think would be the better one to start my A.E. Van Vogt journey with? So let me know, please. Let me know. Here's one that I picked up not too long ago, and I'm reading it right now. I Who Have Never Known Men. I picked it up yesterday, and I'm already on page 118. The reason for this is twofold. One is I'm engrossed in this story. I think it's beautiful, beautifully told. Some stories I have a hard time visualizing. Here, each step of the way, I'm with the women of this story, with our protagonist. I Who Have Never Known Men, Jacqueline Harpman. I think she's a Belgian author. This is fantastic. I'm not recommending it to anyone. It's a very specific book. I think it'll be a perfect read for some and maybe a total miss for others. Another reason why I'm reading it pretty fast is because there are no chapter breaks. There are no breaks. There are no chapter. You have to kind of go through it. She basically right off the bat tells you that you're not going to get all the answers with this book.
1:58 p.m.
Okay, thank you. You're not going to get all the answers with this book. Kind of right off the bat, she sets the expectations. And even though I know I'm not going to get all the big reveals, all the mysteries of this book are not going to be revealed to me, I'm okay with that. I'm still interested enough, and the writing is really good. There are some passages here that are really beautiful. So a couple of books from authors that have sent these books to me, and I appreciate it immensely. So first off, Caspar Geon sent me The Immeasurable Heaven, and I'm reading this one a bit slowly because I had a buddy read that was a lot of fun. Immeasurable Heaven, however, is a book that is really ambitious. I almost feel like I should just, because I'm reading this as a second book all the time, I think this book deserves to be read as a primary kind of focus because it is difficult at times. The world building can be a bit complex about what is going on. No human characters in this book. The aliens, spectacular, smart, really well written. I like this book, but I feel like I should have not been reading it kind of as an afterthought in between if I have time, as I'm reading something else, but rather on its own. Nice. Also from Caspar. Thank you, Caspar, for sending me this book. I'm hoping that this will really work out for me well by the time I'm finished with it, because so far I'm finding it really intriguing. Josh Chetwynd now send me this book, The Exemplar. Josh is someone who lives in Colorado, not too far from where I am, and The Exemplar is a book. He's written other stuff too, kind of, I think, revolving around baseball, his passion. But this is a science fiction book. We have a young protagonist, so definitely this could have a crossover for young adults. This young protagonist, I believe, wakes up and something's off. He's like in a different world. He is the best example of his family's gene pool. Because of that, some stuff starts to happen. I don't know enough about this book to really get too deeply into it, but it does sound like fun, like a fun story. It sounds like an easy book to kind of get into and be swept away. And I started reading it just to get a feel for it, just first few pages. It's well written. I was like hooked right away. I was like, oh, I could continue this. I'm not going to continue it just yet, as I have a long list, but I will get to it at some point. And thank you so much, Josh, and also Caspar, for sending these books to me. I really appreciate that from you. That's awesome. And good luck with the sales. Anyway, let's move on to Philip K. Dick. It's been a minute since I read a PKD novel. I love PKD, but I don't know a whole lot about these books. So I need you to tell me, out of these four, if I was to read one, which one should I read? I'll tell you which one I probably would read if it was up to me. It would be Deus Aire, because this is one that I have heard about. Philip K. Dick, Roger Zelazny writing together. I'm intrigued. I think Chris from Liminal Spaces talked about this one. I don't remember if he loved it, but I do think he found it interesting. So yeah, let me know. So this is the only one out of the 4 books that I picked up from PKD that I had some previous knowledge about. The Game Players of Titan, I have no idea. So let me know. Dr. Futurity. Fun titles are always fun with PKD, right? They're not always obvious. Last, the Zap Gun. I have people walking around behind me, which is very distracting, but that's okay. The Zap Gun is the last PKD that I'll need your help with. I don't know what this story is about. But they all seem fun. PKD novels are always a surprise to me. His writing always appeals to me. There hasn't been one that I didn't enjoy, so I'm sure I'm going to like these as well. Now, I do have some books here that are quite special. I'm going to leave them for the end. I'll tell you about some books that I have here that are not science fiction. I'll go quickly. I don't want to bore you in case you are only here for SF. There by Tommy Orange. I think Tommy Orange is a native writer. Arapaho, I believe, is his affiliation tribe. And kind of modern urban plight of the natives is what this book dives into, and I'm very curious. I'm interested. He also wrote another book. I forget the title now. More recently, I think this is, I believe, his first one. I could be wrong. But Tommy Orange, this is very popular. Mainstream for sure. Let me know if you've read it. Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I picked it up for free. This is a book, I think, about a boy or a man who on the spectrum. Sounded really interesting. He finds a dead dog and a mystery starts from there. I don't know more than that. Grendel, do I need to talk about this one? You've probably heard all about it. You've probably read it. I have not read it. I picked it up. John Gardner, let me know if this is a good one. We've got The Monster. Let me know your thoughts on this book. On Trails, Robert Moore. There's a book that I wanted to read. I was quite a bit into hiking and mountain climbing, and I've done some stuff. And lately, due to some injuries, I kind of scaled, and I haven't done it, but I'm feeling the pull. I'm feeling the pull of the mountains and the trails. So this exploration, I thought would be a good one for a certain mood. I definitely want to get to it at some point. We shall see. 2 books that I definitely want to get to, Wasp Factory and Song of the Stone. I don't know if I haven't mentioned this in a previous book haul. I apologize if I have. Ian M. Banks is fantastic. He's quickly rising up to be my favorite author. He's up there. Ian Banks, now without the M, is the same author, of course, but that's when he writes books that are mainstream, not science fiction, but more literary works. The Wasp Factory is probably his most famous one, and that's the one I'm going to start with when I'm ready for it. It's a dark tale. This one I've heard some mixed reviews on, to say the least. I don't know, I've heard that it's not great, but let me know if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, I'm excited about Ian Banks. Here's one book that I'm not super excited about, but it was a beautiful copy, and I picked it up because it was basically free. House of Leaves, Mark Danielewski, full color edition. This is a book that is definitely much talked about. I was not planning on reading it. I knew that it's got this structure that is challenging, that is very specific. You know, I mean, you could see on this page, for example, some of the writing goes in the opposite direction, upside down. I don't know if this doesn't feel intrinsically, I don't know, kind of gimmicky to me, but I have heard good things about this book, and I have heard people talk about it as something that is basically a waste of time, where you have this, all these things are happening, but the story itself is lacking, and that has me a little bit concerned. So let me know if you've read House of Leaves. Let me know if you find this story of a house that is bigger on the inside than on the outside interesting, and if this really worked for you. And now, last but not least, I'm gonna go quickly through these. I have some English versions of Lem's incredible works. We have a beautiful edition of Stanisław Lem, Return from the Stars, Powrót z Gwiazd. Not my favorite of his works, but I love this edition. I'm so happy to have it. And I wanted to pick up more Lem in English. I know there's some problems with translations. I want to kind of see it for myself. Ilan Tihe, Memoirs of a Space Traveler. Tihe is a fantastic protagonist. He reoccurs in quite a few of Lem's books. I like his stories. They're fun, always fun. So anyway, and this is such a fun cover. Like I looked at it at first, I was just like, this doesn't seem like a Lem kind of a cover, but it has grown on me since. It is interesting. So yeah. Anyway, that's another cover here. And then I have some of these mortal engines. These are stories of AI, artificial intelligence, robots, robot knights. Very interesting. And I love these editions, actually. I think they're so pretty. I don't know if this book was ever read. I have this one here, and also where's the other one? The Investigation, which is kind of like a mystery. Kona, no. She's gonna knock everything down. Jesus Christ, my dog. Anyway, The Investigation is, there's an investigation, but there's a science fiction also element to it. I have actually not read this one in any language, so I'm curious. And I love these covers also with the kind of a projection of the title from the author. I don't know, I think they're pretty. So excited to find these books also. You gotta love the red staining. I also have Imaginary Magnitude by Lem. That's exciting. I have The Invincible, which is a story that I really enjoyed. It's a short book. I think it's great if you have a chance to read The Invincible. I think you will appreciate it. Necroevolution, fantastic. There's also a great video game I've heard made of this story, and this is a beautiful edition. I read The Invincible, Niezwyciężony in Polish. Now I have an English version as well. Chain of Chance. I know nothing about this. I don't think this is science fiction, but it's a Stanisław Lem that I haven't read again in any language, so it's in my possession now. A couple of books where the deliveries are not super exciting, but whatever. More Tales of Pirks the Pilot. Pirks the Pilot is another one that reappears in some of the Stanisław Lem's books, and Perfect Vacuum. I'm so excited. Lots of great books here. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're reading these days, or just anything about any of these books. Yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting with you in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.